Welcome to the Get Your Act Together podcast. I am your host, Kelly Reynolds. And this week I am traveling with my family. We are in Delaware visiting my in-laws, and I am in a closet holding my microphone like a game show host because I completely forgot to pack my stand. And as much as I try to relax, my head is thinking about business all the time. Not all the time, but a good amount of my time. And I don't think that's just unique to me. I think that's also just kind of how entrepreneurs work. Their brains are just always going. So I am in the closet, and if we get this video on YouTube, you'll all get a laugh. I'll take at least a picture or two and post it because um, I'm literally sitting on the floor of a closet like a game show host because my brain is going, right. I'm thinking about all these things that I want to get done, and as soon as I relax at all and I give myself some space, I get all of these fantastic business ideas. And that's fantastic. Like, it's awesome, right? That's the kind of place where the really good ideas come. And so I have been letting that happen while we're at I'm floating around the lazy river at the water park. I'm trying to let those things happen and my brain go because I really am fascinated to see where my business is going to be by the end of the year. I'm recording this in August. And my brain is always looking forward. That's how I work. But I'm really looking forward to the rest of the year. We've got about 4 months, a little more than 4 months at this point in the year. And I'm fascinated to see how this is going to work out. For any of you that have been listening to the last few podcasts, you know that like my whole business kind of went crazy in the middle of June and really May forward. So it's this exciting time of trying to figure out what's going to happen when things are all kind of chaotic, which is scary and exciting at the same time. So as I'm thinking through these things, there are a lot of questions that are coming into my head, and I thought that I would give you some kind of a bunch of hard questions that you might be wanting to ask yourself as well in your business. That you kind of have to give yourself some space to think about because these are more theoretical, more abstract questions than what project management tool you use. So I want you to give yourself some space to really think through these things because I think it's really important. Um, and if you don't have a good answer to any of these, it's okay. But I want you to start thinking your way through them and how you might be able to answer them. So let's go to the first question. Okay. So question number one: how much can you let go in your business? Like realistically, like this is the thing that comes up for it comes up by far as the biggest question I get asked by agency owners or people who want to start an agency is, how do I let go? How do I let people touch my stuff? Right? It's so hard for anyone to give up control, especially if you've started the work as a solopreneur, just you doing the things, and now you're bringing in and they're going to touch your stuff, and you have to show people what to do, and it's scary, right? So how can you let go of that work and let someone else do it, especially without you getting in the way? Okay. So question two: can your team run things without you? Can you go on vacation? Can you be sick and actually just stay in bed and get better? Like without worrying that the whole world is going to end. Can you do that? Now you may be saying, Kelly, you're recording a podcast in a closet on vacation, but I have been at the water park. I have been letting my team do all of the other things that can be done by my team. This podcast is me. I record this. This is my job. And frankly, we were going to record uh, this before we left and we got jammed up. So it is what it is. I'm trying to be flexible. But for the most part, the rest of the team has got most of the other stuff. I have done very little work while I've been here for a week. We left, about a week ago. So can you go away? Can your team handle it? Or are you completely trapped? Are you tied to your desk? Okay. Question three: could you get out of the blank work to bring in more clients? Whatever that blank work is, like it's usually delivery or operations in some way. Like, can you get out of that day-to-day work that is bogging you down and instead do the activities that will bring in revenue? Right? As the CEO, as the leader, as the whatever you want to call yourself, So often we think that we don't have time for certain things. We don't have time for marketing. We don't have time for strategy because we're so stuck in doing things that are really not our jobs. So what if I told you that you have the time? You have just chosen to stay in certain things because you have not learned to delegate, you have not learned to trust, you have not learned to let go, um, and that you do have time for these other things. And then, you know, figuring out what those things are is maybe another question. What do you want to do and what don't you want to do? But first, could you get out of this work right now? If you decided I want to be in this work and not in this work, um, I want to keep this fun thing that I like to do, but other than that, I'm going to stick to marketing. Like, what do you want to do? But could you do it? Do you have the team behind you? Do you have the systems behind you? Do you have the processes to be able to let them do their work and know that the work will not suffer? Okay. So, number 4, will your business break if you brought in 5 clients, like all right now? What about 10? If all of your marketing efforts worked tomorrow, if you have 5 dream clients, they show up and they want to pay in full for your biggest package, would it break everything? Could you take that influx? Would you just lose your mind? Can you take on that much? Do you have a system for saying, no, we have a wait list? Do we only take on these people, this amount of people a month or whatever it is? What would happen if all of a sudden all the things you wanted came in, all the people you wanted came in? Would that break your business? And if it would, then maybe you need to look at building your business in a different way so that you could take on more people, so that you could take on more revenue. Um, Most people, I feel like, in a certain space, I don't know, in a lot of spaces, in a lot of stages of business, if 5 of their ideal clients came to them at once, something would break. Yeah, like that's we think, "Oh, we gotta work so hard, we gotta work so hard," and then all of a sudden it works, and then everything breaks. What are those kind of things that you can build into your business so that it won't break, so that you can scale? Because we all wanna grow. I think most of us at least wanna grow in our business, and we usually don't have our businesses set up to actually scale and actually grow. So we think it's the marketing, but then what if the marketing worked? Is the systems and the operation, are they good? Can they handle it? Okay. Number 5, what happens if a team member leaves? What happens if it's more than one team member? What happens if one of those team members is your right-hand person? And this is a really scary proposition for most of us, right? We have finally trusted someone. They are fantastic. But what if they leave? This could be nothing malicious, right? We just went through COVID. This could be a car accident. Like, it could be something simple. They never would leave you except they got hit by a bus. You know what I mean? Like something terrible. They're in the hospital in a coma and you can't ask them anything. What if all of that knowledge is in their heads? Is it? Is your business based on someone's brain having everything inside still? I was just talking to someone yesterday who lost a whole team in her business at once. Somebody walked out and their team left with them. And it's a major project that's almost complete and they need that team. What happens then? Okay. That can be so scary, but there are ways to put processes, systems in place that might be able to mitigate a lot of that disaster, that you can be more ready for people being able to go. Because especially in small business, I feel like most of these jobs, these roles, um, there's going to be turnover. People are going to grow in their role and they're going to move on. And that's great. Be happy for them. But how are you insulating your business against people leaving? Okay. And number 6, are you having issues with your team not being clear? Think honestly. Okay. I want you to be really honest here. If the problems you are having with your team members are really them making mistakes all the time, or if it's about you not setting clear expectations, I talk about this a lot. Clear expectations are the foundation of communication, marriage, kids, team, all of it. I believe that most issues with team members are caused by us being unclear what we want, what we expect, when the task is due, what the task is. Are there 6 steps or 12? What do they have to do? Being clear is the only way you both will be happy. Because if you say, I want this done on this date by that, like with this amount of hours for this price, they can say, no way, I can't do it for that. And then when it's very clear, it's so much easier to work together. That's why I always recommend some kind of client agreement or contract, not as much for the litigation aspect, because most of us are not going to go litigate anything. It is for being clear. This is a clear scope. I will work this many hours. I will do this list of things. So when we are not clear, it is detrimental to our business. I know a few business owners that are going through assistance like water. They think that no one wants to work, or no one is good at their jobs, or no one's detail oriented enough. When these assistants, they're probably great, but they've never really had a clear expectation set for them. They don't know what is expected of them, so they don't know how to do a good job. Okay? So if you are having issues with your team, are you being clear? Honestly. Because there's times where I look at my own business. I preach this all the time, right? Be clear with your team. If something goes wrong, you probably weren't clear. That is always my thought. I'm not clear enough. And I even do it now. I say to my team, like, oh, I need something done. And they think one thing and I think another. And then they will come to me and be like, look, we need some clarity here. What do you need? When does it due? And I'm like, right, sorry. So I even do it. I get it. But instead of blaming, are you being clear? Okay. So if you can go through those 6 questions, give them a little thought. And let me say that it's totally okay not to have the answers to these questions. But if you're going to be if you are going to be the owner of your business, you need to ask yourself these questions and get the answers. And to be clear, I want you to find your answers, not anyone else's answers, your answers. How do you want this business to run? Don't think that there's only one way to do it. This comes up a lot when you go to take a course from someone. They did it their way, and then they're going to go teach you their way, and they tell you this is the only way to do it. That's not right. There are a million ways to run a business. Going through this agency series on the podcast, I am 6 episodes in at this point, and all the businesses are run differently. Are they successful? Sure. Are they agencies? Yep. Are they all different? Totally. So don't think that there is only one way to do this. You can be successful in totally different ways, right? Like I've heard people say, oh, you can only be a successful agency owner if you're completely out of the work. Well, what if you like the work? Maybe you liked being in it a little bit. I think there's a lot of flexibility here, and it's about making things work for you. Okay. So these questions are about thinking through how you want to build your business so that it is sustainable. All right. So I hope you are enjoying the end of your summer. I know a lot of kids are going back to school. We have a little bit left of summer in New Jersey, and then we get local summer, which is a glorious time without traffic and warm weather and beaches. So I am going to go back to my family on vacation, and I will see all of you next week. Thank you so much for joining me this week. If you have an agency or want to create one, come join my Facebook community, Get Your Agency Together, where we talk all the things growing and scaling your agency. For show notes and more info on all the things, head over to reynoldsobm.com. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at ReynoldsOBM. And finally, if you enjoy this podcast, I would love for you to give us a review on iTunes.